Hi, welcome to Chapter 13 of AP Psychology. We're doing emotion, stress, and health. Today we're going to talk about the nature of emotion. We're going to get into it pretty quickly. We have emojis here. This is how we express emotion as a society now. We just send little emojis to show that this person here has a biological disorder where water pours out of their eyes. This person here is not sure if they maybe pass gas and there's something else that came out. This person's really upset because they have no bottom teeth. They have hearts for eyes. I don't know what's wrong with them. Yeah, this one right here, they're doing naughty stuff, naughty little stuff. And then this guy's an extra in Braveheart because they painted their face blue. I don't know emojis. I'm not going to try to interpret. So let's get into it. So the nature of emotion. Emotion was seen as the opposite of thinking for centuries. So basically, if you were emotional, you were not being reasonable, you were not using logic. Hey, and if you don't like this video, I have cute pictures of kittens here. Just enjoy the kitties, okay? The heart was irrational, the brain was rational, and so being emotional was not good. It was not seen. It was like turning your brain off. So emotion is the physiological changes. Your body actually has changes based on the emotion, and then there's the cognitive process, how our brain interprets it and how we sense the emotion, and then there's the cultural influences and the social influences of how we show the emotion and how we share it. All of these factors, physiological, cognitive, cultural / social, shape our emotion and how we feel things and how we express them is really important to get into that. So people are born with primary emotions. I'm sure that you're looking at Jackie Chan here, and you know that's the WTF emoji or meme right there. You know what's going on. All humans have fear, anger, sadness, joy, surprise, disgust, and contempt. Contempt is like disrespect, like, really, you're going to tell me what to do? I didn't think so. So we can even go, like mad, sad, happy, all those kind of things, glad. Each has a distinctive physiological pattern, and then there's a facial expression that goes across cultures. That each of these primary emotions have a facial expression that shows that you're in fear, that you're angry, that you're sad, or you're happy, and all those good things there. Secondary emotions are the ones that we learn as a society. They get more and more complicated. They blend the primary emotions into certain degrees based on culture and other factors. They develop with increased cognitive maturity. Little babies, little toddlers, they kind of know all these, and this is it. Originally, the movie Inside Out was going to have all of these emotions in here. Like I was saying, Inside Out was going to have all the primary emotions in there. They actually had Paul Ekman, who's the most renowned emotional psychologist in the nation, working on the film as an advisor, and they decided to go with the 5 here. A little easier to do the characters. Not sure you have a character of surprise or contempt. So it's still kind of neat to see, and the movie is really well done. This is an emotional chart. I'm not sure how scientific it is, but it kind of shows, the middle here is really the primary emotions. Now they've added trust and anticipation, but if you blend some of these, you can get, the extreme version of these. When you have anger, you go further, deeper. It's rage. Happiness, joy can be ecstasy. But if you blend joy with trust, you get love. When you blend anger and anticipation, you get aggressiveness. Anger and disgust is contempt. It's kind of a little over the place, but it gives you a little visual if you're a visual learner. So the face of emotion. Darwin thought that facial expressions were innate, and he was correct. Paul Ekman gathered evidence in the universality of 7 basic facial expressions. Anger, happiness, fear, surprise, disgust, sadness, and contempt were found in every single culture they studied. Some argue pride is a basic human emotion, but it doesn't have the corresponding face. There's 80 muscles in your face, and it is true it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile. And so people are trying to hide their emotions, actually use different muscles than actual genuine emotions. A real smile only lasts a couple seconds. Most fake smiles, the ones that we do like for pictures and like probably like, hurry up, mom, just take a picture, please. My face hurts. Are not using the same muscles as a genuine smile. Authentic smiles last 2 seconds. Fake ones can last 10 seconds. Some people can fake it all the time. However, you can't fake it till you make it. If you fake a smile, it sometimes can trick your brain and release the chemicals that make you feel better. So sometimes faking a smile does make you feel a little bit better. If you want, click on this link or scan the QR code and take the Faces of Emotion quiz. Basically, you go through these phases and try to label which emotion they are and see how good you are at labeling what the emotions are. It's kind of fun. You might do it on your own. It's a good lesson to do. So the functions of facial expressions, they reflect our emotions, but they also can influence them. Like I said, facial feedback sends messages back to the brain about the emotion. And so an angry face will raise your heart rate. If you get angry like this and do that, your pulse will go up more than a happy face. Hey. Signaling function of the face to start. It starts all the way back in infancy. Babies will supple longer on their mother's breast or on a bottle if they are smiled at instead of a neutral face or an angry face or a sad face. The visual cliff at age 1, kids, when they put them on the table and then they would crawl and then they'd have a plexiglass, they didn't fall, but they would crawl right across. By age 1, they would not cross alone, but 74% would cross over the visual cliff if mom was there and smiled, which is pretty interesting, actually. 33% of your job as a parent and as a teacher is just staring at your kids like this till they act right. You're probably getting that look from your parents all week because you're home alone, stuck. So moods can be contagious. Mood contagion. People unconsciously mimic facial expressions and body language to build rapport. So if the whole nation is in something called the Great Depression and everyone's down psychologically, it's contagious and it spreads. When everyone's cooped up at home because of the coronavirus and the quarantines, it's going to spread. We have to be happy. Put a smile on that face. Let's go. If someone mimics or expresses your body language, you are more likely to be helpful. You're more likely to like them. You can get people to like you if you just mimic what they do subtly, not the old game like copy game, but have the correct body language and imitate their facial expressions, and they will more likely to like you and to help you out. Social media probably can be a kind of a form of mood contagion. That from social media we can create fear, we can create rage, happiness. Maybe there's some really funny, happy videos out there that'll make you feel good. And so some people use facial expressions to lie, though, and so there's kind of a tricky thing to think about. So you can lie, you can hide your emotions, and so sometimes you can trick people as well. This is from the Braincraft videos from PBS. Check it out. It's on the mood contagion. It's really well done. In the brain, there's parts of the brain that are involved with specific emotions. The prefrontal cortex, the prefrontal regions right here, have your impulses to approach or withdrawal. That's your higher center. It's just nice to rub your head. It feels good. So you should do it right now. The right side is specialized for escape. The left side is specialized for motivation to approach, to be more social. People with greater than average activation on the left side have more positive feelings. And so being an optimist might be that the left side of your prefrontal cortex works better than other people's. Likewise, if you're a pessimist, maybe the right side is overactive for you. We know that the amygdala is fear and anger. Fear and anger. Yoda warned you about those, so be careful. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. That's the path of the dark side. Damage to it may hinder recognizing fear in others. If it's overactive, you might turn into the Hulk. So don't do that. The cerebral cortex can override fear and anger. We can do things that when we're scared or when we're angry, we can overcome those with our higher brain functions. So you can have the 20 seconds of courage from We Bought a Zoo. Now, mirror neurons are cells in the brain that are activated when an animal or a person observes others doing a specific task. So they help us identify when others are feeling. We imitate their actions. We can read their emotions. We get a sense when someone's in pain. We get a sense when someone's happy or they're hurt. Things that are contagious that we mirror, itching. If you just start scratching yourself to other people, they'll start consciously being aware of their own skin. Yawning is contagious. Pains, we can say, oh, he got hit right in the groin, and most men go, eee. Running water will help you, maybe have you hurt the urge to urinate. There's an underlying mechanism for human empathy, nonverbal rapport, mood contagious. By the way, that is a bed bug. And so if you're looking at that, if you have those in your bed, they're going to bite you and suck your blood, and it's going to itch, and you're just going to be like, it's really fun. It's fun to mess with people. Paul Ekman said that action unit 1 is our inner eyebrows raise, and it triggers empathy in us. We all, when we get hurt or we're down, we want to hear that the mom, oh, we love that. Oh, are you okay? Where you don't want to go see dad because dad goes, oh, I told you not to do that. What are you doing? They make fun of you. This is a video that I made of a bed bug feeding set to the tune of Jaws. You're not going to be able to sleep, are you? Yeah, have fun with that. Call Mountain Pass if you need to. So emotions also lead to the release of hormones. The sympathetic nervous system is activated for arousal and alertness. When you're angry, you get your heart rate increases. You have norepinephrine and adrenaline released into the body. Epinephrine and norepinephrine are released during these episodes. Epinephrine provides a lot of energy of emotion. It's the tingle of excitement. It's the butterflies in your stomachs when we get all excited and tingly and all that. Primary emotions differ from each other physiologically speaking as well. Your body reacts differently to the primary emotions. Brain activity is different. Autonomic nervous system activity, electrical conductivity of the skin, the finger temperatures change, and so there's hot and cold zones throughout the body. This is when Zinedine Zidane headbutted the Italian in the World Cup years ago because the Italian guy was talking trash about his mom and his sister the whole time, and so he was overcome with emotion. He had the release of adrenaline, and he headbutted the guy in the chest, and he got thrown out of the game, red card, and then Italy won. Not sure if this is true, but this is kind of a scan of the body, basically temperature that's going on when we have anger and fear and disgust, and when we're sad, we feel cold. Anxiety, love is all over. We're kind of tingly. Shame apparently turns us into Spider-Man. Not sure what's going on there with shame. I'm shameful to be Spider-Man. So the cognitive processes are also involved in emotions as well. We can choose how to react to situations. We have our own lens. We have our own mental set. And so we can have a positive mindset even when bad things happen. Singer and Schachner argued that emotion depended both on the body and the mind. They're basically that you need both of them. Getting a good or bad grade on a test is in comparison to your effort. If you tried really hard and got a bad grade, you'd be really upset. If you didn't try hard and you got a bad grade, you might be like, eh. But at the same time, if you didn't try hard and you got a good grade, you might be ecstatic because you're like, wow, I didn't expect that. And so those are all with the same grades. Bronze medalists in the Olympics are actually happier than those who won the silver. Bronze are happy they got something. They were the last person on the podium. Silver was that close to a gold medal, and so they worry about it the rest of their lives. You might have a disappointing win. You might have a relief for losing. We didn't get killed. We didn't get blown out. We can feel two emotions simultaneously. Our brains can feel happiness and sadness at the same time. As children develop cognitively, their emotions grow more complex. They can feel embarrassment, disappointment. Boredom is one that kind of develops. Shame and guilt do not show up until age 2 or 3. This is a Jerry Seinfeld stand-up bit about the silver medalist. I can't show you it for copyright, but check it out. So the theories. Most psychologists agree upon that 1, there's a stimulus. There's something that happens that causes emotion. 2, there's a negative or positive tone conscious experience. There's the emotion. And then 3, there's the physiological arousal. So then the order of things that happens and how they're connected is really the theories of emotion. And then there's a related behavior or social cultural response to it. The James Lange theory says that, this is from William James and Carl Lange, going back to the 19th century. There's William James from Harvard, 1879, started the psych lab and all that stuff. That emotions are caused by the body's reaction to the stimuli. Basically, the body reacts and then our brain interprets it. Our heart is beating, so we feel excitement. We feel sorry because we cry. We're angry because we hit, and we're afraid because our body is trembling. Our brain interprets the body. People that have spinal damage, people that are paralyzed from the waist down, still have intense feelings, and so that one's kind of been thrown out over the years. Next, we have the Cannon-Bard theory, where emotions and the body's reactions are relatively independent, that the brain does its own thing and the body does its own things, and sometimes it works. Sometimes you're happy and your body's crying and you're not sure what's going on. The stimuli are simultaneously routed to the brain and the body by the thalamus. It explains why sometimes we do weird things, like when we're uncomfortable and we're scared, we laugh. Now, the cognitive theory, which is the Schachner-Singer theory, basically stimuli inside and outside the body cause emotions. How you interpret the stimulus affects your reaction. So being called ugly by your best friend is kind of a joke. You're not going to punch it. But if a stranger calls you ugly, you might give them a dirty look. You might punch them. Then you go to jail for assault and battery. Don't do that. And so the interpretation is within one's body. For many people, an example is sexual arousal seems like love. And so people feel that arousal, and so they feel like they're in love. And they've done studies and shown this. There's Falling in Love on a Suspension Bridge study done by Donald Dutton and Arthur Aaron. Basically, people that were on a bridge together in a scary situation were more likely to have positive feelings towards the people that they were with them. Going through a life-threatening event, and you see this in movies all the time, makes people like each other because their heart rate is increased and they're aroused, not sexually, but their bodies are aroused, and so that makes them feel like I'm falling for you. I'm having feelings. And when you like someone, your heart rate increases. And so if you're in a situation where your heart rate's naturally increasing, you're with them, you might misinterpret that for love or, feelings of attraction. This is why if you want to get a good night's kiss on a date, you take your girlfriend or your boyfriend to an action movie, not a romantic comedy, because you're never as good as whoever's on the screen. But the action film is going to do well to help stimulate heart rate increase and attraction. And so researchers tested if people had stronger arousal and feelings that the situation was more fearful, and they found that they did. And so here's our three theories. We have the James Lange theory, Cannon-Bard theory, and then the Schachter-Singer two-factor theory. And that's all that's going on. That's all I have for today. If you have any questions, let me know.